Welcome everybody and happy Tuesday. Got, wow, 17 people on the live Zoom. I have, I think 29 or 30 on my roll, which is really, really good for that percentage to come in. Some people are on my roll and they're double math, but that's okay. So we were talking the last couple of weeks, last week about the elections 2020 and the Electoral College, how that works, and all of that stuff. I wanted to talk about why one state is blue or one state is red based on whether it's a Democratic state. Why is our Democrats blue and Republicans red? Who just popped in? I have Kelly, I think, just popped in. Kelly, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Good, and yourself?
Kelly, Oliva?
Olivo.
You're not related to anybody with Oliva, right?
No.
Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a massive cigar company. So just one little consonant or vowel off and you're a different person. How you doing? Good? All right.
Yes,
so
thank
I am going to screen share a couple of things. We're going to look at why, and I'm going to call this tonight if you want to get note paper out real quick. And this is the most random notes all over the place, anything from GED and prepping classes like that, little mini videos we're going to look at, as well as like sequence of events and categorizing things as well, okay? Using the social studies cheat book. I say cheat book. I shouldn't say that, the study book. So let me screen share. And I got the spinning wheel of death, which is always good. All right, so let's look at this real quick. All right, you can see that, correct? Let me know if you can.
Yes.
Hello. All right.
Yes.
All right, I want to show you this really, really quickly. Why red means Republican and blue means Democrat. Real quick, 5 minutes. You can write this information down. We'll stop it as it go. Why is my connection unstable? Can you guys see that? Can you hear me? Can't always trust the internet.
Yes.
Some people.
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Yes, we can.
It keeps popping up on my Zoom. My internet connection is not great. Let's skip the ad. Now I'm not getting a visual. Maybe that's the issue. Let's refresh.
Okay.
Sonda. So come on.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes.
I'm gonna skip that. All right, let's bring this down a little bit. Hopefully this will load up. Obviously want 1080p. I love when my plans work out.
Uh-oh.
I might have to log in and log back out. I'm sorry, guys. We might have to, if you guys could, we're gonna log back into the Zoom, okay? I think I have to put down the Zoom. Let's see if it's gonna work now. Let's try, something's trying. It's mine. All right, here we go. Can you see this? Come on.
Yes.
we can see it.
It just won't play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This stinks.
For Americans, the colors red and blue are deeply linked.
This is not working.
To the flag, maybe?
All right, what happened here?
Kind of froze for a couple seconds.
In 1970s changed.
All right, can you see
but
it
still
now?
would be several.
Yes.
Wow.
For Americans, the colors red and blue are deeply linked to the Republican.
Let's stop that real quick and see if we can get 1080p. It's trying.
Democratic parties, but it's really only been that way since the 2000 election. After all, this is what election night results used to look like on American TV.
Black and white.
Gentlemen, let me tell you this.
And this stinks.
Changed all that. But it still would be several decades before the media settled on the color scheme we know today.
What are the hardest states to turn from blue to red, and what are the easy ones?
President Obama has won every one of these blue states.
He has to turn states that have been voting blue.
To understand where this red state, blue state business comes from, let's go back to the very first time a television network used color maps to report election results. That happened in 1972, which also was the first year that a majority of American television households owned color TVs. Each of the big three networks broadcasted their election coverage in color. But here's what CBS did to differentiate themselves from their competition. They created the first color election map in American television history. And just look at Alabama on CBS's map. That oh so reliable conservative state, it was colored pure Republican blue. No, your eyes were not deceiving you. The states that Republican Richard Nixon won that night in his 1972 landslide victory were colored blue on the CBS map. CBS's great broadcast innovation would soon inspire the other networks to introduce red and blue maps to their own election night broadcasts. For its part, CBS would keep the Republican blue and Democratic red scheme through the 1980 election.
For Reagan, well, it's a different story. They're shown in blue, and this country is almost solidly in the Reagan colors tonight.
Those pairings may seem odd today, but they weren't back then. That's because blue, as NPR's Ron Elving has noted, was a color closely associated with the Union Army, led by Republican Abraham Lincoln. Red, on the other hand, was a color associated with leftists and left-leaning parties throughout the world, as it is today. In fact, NBC's 1976 election chief told the Smithsonian Magazine that it was British Tory blue and Labour Party red that influenced NBC to go with this color scheme for 20 years.
You're beginning to look like a suburban swimming pool over there.
Walter Mondale, the winner of the state of Minnesota, colored red tonight. For Walter Mondale, it is shaping up as a George Bush map as we look at it back there.
It certainly is, Tom.
He goes into the Clinton column after having voted with the Republicans the last 3 times. And as you can see, we color in the state of Kentucky.
ABC News, on the other hand, had its own state color logic.
Red states are states that we have projected having gone for Mr. Reagan. Red are Reagan. That's why we chose red.
By 1996, ABC and CBS had used the now familiar Democratic blue states and Republican red states on their maps over several election cycles. So NBC decided to make the switch too for a very simple reason.
NBC decided to adapt the same color pattern as ABC and CBS so as not to have a confusion for the viewers.
But it wasn't until the 2000 election that the political concept or term red state versus blue state took hold. On that election night, the network anchors and pundits relied heavily on the colored maps to explain how close the race was between George W. Bush and Al Gore. Very soon, Those red states and blue states that the country saw over and over again on TV became rooted in American culture. David Letterman was one of the earliest cultural figures to pick up on this just a few days after the 2000 election.
Candidates worked out a compromise, and thank God not a minute too soon. Here's how it's going to go. George W. Bush will be president for the red states. W. Gore will be president for the blue states, and that's successful.
Those same television maps would also help make red state and blue state a popular term among political pundits and newspaper headline writers. It was useful shorthand as memories of the 2000 election were burned into the American psyche. Over time, the term came to mean not just the states that voted for Bush and Gore, but also a way to describe the cultural values associated with American electoral geography. All this was not lost on then State Senator Barack Obama when he addressed the DNC in 2004.
The pundits like to slice and dice our country into red states and blue states. Red states for Republicans, blue states for Democrats.
But come election night in 2004, the term, the coloring, and the maps still stuck. Now you can see the red and blue terminology all over the place in American life. It's in modern party iconography, it's in the names of consulting groups, in coffee brands, and even at this Kentucky barbecue joint.
The Red State Barbecue.
There's even a color now for states that could vote either Democratic or Republican.
Purple state.
And while many may lament the divisions that the terms have brought to the country, maybe they should look on the bright side. At least it inspired CBS's Harry Smith to record this amazing song.
I'm from a red state.
I'm from a blue one.
We met in the middle and don't see eye to eye. She's a bleeding heart.
Yours is made of stone.
Sometimes I wonder how we get by.
But when the talk turns to love and the words don't matter.
That's a weird ending. All right, so I'm stopping sharing real quick, if it allows me. So that's where that comes from. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so I wore a red tie recently and somebody was like, oh, you're a Republican. I was like, no, my favorite color is red. Nothing to do with it. So I've even met that where it's like, oh, shoot. So that's where you get the history from the red to blue. And that's 1996, where all the three major channels or networks agreed to, but really into 2000. I want to switch gears to more of the GED. There's these little mini clips on the GED YouTube that I'd like to look at that describe kind of your best testing tips and what's the difference between a GED and a high school diploma and things like that. So if you want to continue your notes and look at this section that is just specifically about the GED, I'll share again. Let me share. All right, sweet. Let's go back to, all right, we're watching later. I got them all saved, guys. You're gonna love them. And there's a bunch of them. We're not gonna look at all of them tonight, but I would like to look at, first off, what is the GED? And this is all coming from GED.com or the GED YouTube.
What is the GED? We'll break it down for you.
Let's break it down.
The GED is a computer-based test that measures your high school level knowledge and skills. The test is made up of 4 subjects: math, science, reasoning through language arts, and social studies. You can take them all at once or one at a time.
Guys, do we take them all at once ever?
No.
Somebody said it.
No, sir.
No.
Not recommended.
Please, 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 please do not take all 4 in the same day. That would be 8 hours of testing. We don't even recommend that you take 2 of them. We want you to leave it all on the floor or on the field if you want to use a sporting analogy. Leave it all on the field for that particular section. So if you're going to do math, think about math. That's it. Okay. These students that try to do multiple in a day, I've only ever seen one kid a long time ago, maybe my first year, she did all 4 in one day. And I don't remember why. There was some reason why she did it. I think she was moving or something. She ended up passing them all. Everybody else I've seen has not, but she would have done even much better if she would have been able to do all at different time periods.
It's not overwhelming. When you pass the 4 subjects,
Yeah.
you will receive an official GED credential from your state. This credential is equivalent to a high school diploma. Just imagine all of the opportunities that await when you pass.
So in the state of Florida, and you can still see me, right? I think you guys can see my face a little bit, right? I wish I had a copy, but the student actually came in today. It will say high school diploma from the state of Florida. Did you know that?
No.
So it does not even say anything about GED, period. So essentially you have a high school diploma, and whenever you apply to new jobs, please put that.
Like going to college. Almost every college in the US and many universities around the world accept the GED.
Mhm.
That's better than any other high school equivalency diploma out there. As a GED grad, you can also earn, on average, $9,000 more per year. We're not just a test. We offer all the prep materials you need and guidance along the way.
So obviously GED wants you to spend money. So GED Flash, I don't know if you have Mr. Butler, he talks about GED Flash a lot. And that might be something you use, or he's let you use. The GED Live is another one. These are all that you can spend a ton of money on this. You're spending $31 for this whole semester where you have access to 50 to 75,000 articles on newsela.com when you get logged into that. IXL is something we spend, I think, close to $250,000 in Pasco County on IXL.com. It is very, very beneficial. If you were to purchase that, I think it's $30 a month anyway. So you're kind of coming in on the better end.
You'll feel motivated and all the way to graduation. Together, we can make your GED journey a success.
Yeah,
Be one of 20 million proud
What's that say? Come on.
Be one of 20 million proud GED grads and counting.
So if you were to think how many people at Marchman, let's say, have a GED as a background, how many would you think, teacher-wise?
A lot.
Five out of the, I said, how many do you think, how many people work here at Marchman that have had a or went through the GED process?
Probably 30.
Less than half.
So it's a little less than half, but it's more than you think, okay? So we have a welding teacher that is on his second retirement, and he's not even 40, okay? He got his GED. We have another lady who's our career specialist. Can you imagine that? She's our career specialist, and she, through a series of different things in her past, has reasons why she took the GED and ends up with a master's in career education, and now sets every tech student up with the particular tech program that they need to be in. So there's really no skin off of your chin in regards to getting a GED. This is a fantastic opportunity for sure. Let's look at some more of these. And there we go. Let's go back. Close that out. I will probably show that in the future, the reasoning through language arts, the extended response. We talked about that last time. In regards to in regards to the science, the language arts test has a little mini essay that you have to do. All right, so let's look at real quick. Can you get into college with a GED? I want to know that.
Yes, you can.
We often hear is, can I get into college with the GED? The answer is yes,
Heck yeah.
definitely. Nearly all colleges in the US accept the GED, as well as many universities around the world. The GED is widely recognized. In fact, there are over 20 million GED grads, and that number keeps growing. You can do even more than just pass the GED. The higher your score, the more it can benefit you in college. With a college-ready score of at least 165, you may be eligible to bypass all or part of your placement exams. With a college-ready plus score of 175 or above, you could get up to 10 hours of college credit for GED subject areas. Talk about opening doors to opportunity. Additionally, your GED account comes with tips for applying to college and work, interview help, and salary guides. With the GED in hand.
All right, so one of the things they said is that the common misconception is that you can't get into college, or I got a fancy word for you, post-secondary school. Post-secondary means after secondary, secondary is high school. So after high school, the thought was, well, if I get a GED, I can't go to any college or university. That's incorrect. There are some universities that don't accept GEDs right off the bat. Now, you get your GED and you apply to Harvard. Are you getting in?
No.
No.
Probably not. No.
I graduated with all A's in high school. Do you think I was going to go to Harvard? No. Some schools are accepting, some are not. You will always be able to get into what they call a community college or a state college. So when I went to college, my first year was at PHCC. Now it's SC, so it was Pasco Hernando Community College, and now it's Pasco Hernando State College. You will have no problem getting into there. I do tours with our current students so we can tour PHSC. I can't tell you how many previous GED students we see in there, you know, doing drafting class or getting into nursing or doing the dental program or just general education programs. So it's not a bad thing to go to a state college or a community college. I did it. You move instantly to a university for your second set of 2 years. So you'll do 2 years, 2.5 years at the state college level or the community college level, and then you move on to the university. And they actually have to, in the state of Florida, if you have passing scores, accept you as a junior. They call it as a junior. So it's not a bad thing at all. And then your degree is generally from that.
What was the 165 score about? You have to have a certain score of a GED to get into the college?
So with a 165, some colleges will waive your entrance exam. So like at PHSC, you have to take what you call the PERT. And the PERT is something mandatory that you have to take. So some schools will waive that initial test if you have a high enough score. Other schools, if you get a 175 or higher, will actually give you college credit. Now,
so 165 is the lowest that they'll take?
Not that they'll take. You can still get in with a 145. You'll just have to take their entrance exam, which is not a big deal. If you did that, you should do pretty well in the other.
Oh, okay.
It's just to waive it. The 175 is actually college credit, but not for every school. We have talked with PHSC and we are working with PHSC to see if they'll accept some of those credits. They currently are not accepting the credits. The only school locally is actually Trinity College, which is in Trinity, Florida. Okay, a little south.
Kaiser accepts it too, I think.
Say it again.
Kaiser accepts it.
Kaiser will too. I believe they will too.
Yes.
They will. Yeah. So 175 is a really ridiculously high score. I have multiple degrees and I don't think I could throw down one of those scores, to be honest. So definitely for sure. So let's look, we're going to stop and I want to look at each test individually. I'm going to share again. And then we're going to call it here in a little bit. So I wanted to look at the science test. Some of you have taken that, some of you have not. At least start taking the practice test.
As you've probably heard as a kid, science is all around us.
Science.
Living things, the environment, and chemistry are part of everyday life. Most of the time, we don't even notice it.
So how can you learn the key points for passing the science portion of the GED test? Let's go through what you're getting into. You'll have 90 minutes.
How many minutes?
90.
90 minutes on social studies.
We'll work through 3 sections. Reading for meaning in science, designing and interpreting science experiments, using numbers and graphics in science.
Those visuals, I talked about visuals last week and the week before. Oh my gosh, they can't be more important.
Here are the topics that will be covered. Life science, which includes how cells work in the human body.
My name is not Mr. Butler, Marshall. It's Mr. Turner. You're killing me.
Mr. Turner,
Yes, sir.
we can't see anything.
You can't see anything?
No.
Can somebody see stuff or no?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
You can.
Oh, hell, motherfucking no. Guess who just hit me up on Meet Me?
I don't know. Why don't you tell her?
Drama.
All right, I'm gonna have to mute some people.
What is he doing on here?
Earth and space.
And why is his location Clearwater?
Geology, natural resources.
I think someone
weather
doesn't
and
know that they're
climate.
muted.
All right, so let me go right here real quick.
I can see you, but I can't see what you.
Then you have to change. You're looking at the wrong view then, Marshall. You got to look at the view of my, it's like up on the top.
I'll help you.
All right, so let's go back here real quick. And then.
Science goes into exciting details, like what the Earth is. Geology, natural resources, weather and climate, all the way to the study of the universe. Sounds. Think about invisible, yet very important points, like atoms and molecules, motion, force, electricity, and magnetism. You'll also use the scientific method to put together investigations, use data to find conclusions, and interpret them. Check out our video about the scientific method in the link below.
Yeah, that's there.
Now that you know what you'll be tested on, take a second to try a quick free sample question. Your student account also includes a free study guide. Plus, there are many detailed learning options created by the makers of the GED test.
All right, so stop sharing. I'm gonna unmute everyone. Or you can unmute yourself. I think I muted everybody on accident. Well, not on accident, on purpose. Especially if there's stuff going on in your house. Marshall, you can see me now or no?
We can see you, but your screen when you're sharing is a black screen. It's not showing the
Yeah,
video.
then you need to go to view and you need to put it on, I think, the speaker's view. There's a drop down under view. Okay. All right, so let's look at
I
this
tried that.
social studies one. All right, we're gonna look at the social studies one. And we're going back.
There we go. Now you
Got it?
Now we just can't see you. We can see everything that you're doing.
Well, you don't need to see me. I'm not that great.
That's right. We don't need to see your pretty face anyway.
All right, so that's the math test I didn't want to show. Where's the social studies one? Uh-oh, there's the scientific method one. Let's look at this one. They have to have the social studies with it.
As you've probably heard as a kid, science is all.
It's all around.
Living things.
All right, so how
There you go.
all right.
Yeah.
Social
There we go.
You want me to turn your bed off?
Yeah, free.
There you go.
Not those tips. Where's the one from them? Or not. I thought I saved it. I did not save it. Let's go back and go to the GEDs.
As you've probably heard as a kid, science is all around us. Living things, the environment.
Going to video. Online testing. Nope, nope, nope. Science one. Social studies. Bingo. I told you we're good at.
Social studies involves a lot of thinking about the news and past events. The GED social studies test is mostly about US history and civics. It covers the nation.
Yeah, so we really do focus, and for some of you it's fun and others it's not. I get it. We've got to talk about US civics, US government, US history. That's just the nature of the beast. I don't control that. That's a GED thing. So that's why we learn the three branches of government. That's why we learn the Electoral College. That's why we learn about state, local, and federal government and how they interact with each other.
World and society as a whole through several topics. There's a lot of information to understand, but it's not a memorization test. Don't stress, you won't have to know all 50 state capitals beforehand.
Though you
First,
should.
let's go through what the social studies test contains.
Let's look at it.
Half of the test focuses on civics and government, covering topics like the structure of the US government and how the electoral system works.
Oh,
You'll
jinx.
need to know major points in history, such as the American Revolution, wars, and civil rights movements. Don't worry, you won't need to know specific dates. You'll have questions about how the economy works and your role as a consumer. Geography is part of the test where you'll be interpreting data shown through charts and maps. Trends in society will be shown through graphs and other visuals, including photos and political cartoons. For example, a line graph can show the population growth of a city before and through the Industrial Revolution. You may be asked to predict future growth for the city. Major points in world history, such as wars, will also be covered. You will need to be able to recognize time periods in which these events happened, but not memorize exact dates, such as specific battles. Lastly, you'll also be reading passages for context and analyzing.
And that's why I want you to spend at least some time every day on News ELA.
Data and charts. Now that you know what you'll be tested on, here are some tips to get ready. If you have just a minute, try a quick free sample question.
Always do that. Yeah. Oops. I want to look at the language arts one.
How long is that test?
No, that's another 90-minute-er. All right. What
I
is
think the social studies was the shortest. But
Is
it's
it-
also very boring, yes.
It's what?
I'm pretty sure the social studies one was only
80 minutes then?
5 minutes. It was shorter than the science one.
Okay. So one's an hour and a half, and I know one's an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, so it's an hour. I think it's an hour and 10 minutes.
You read and write.
Let's do the reasoning through language arts. That's the long one, okay, where we have a little mini essay and everything. So it'll discuss that.
Every day. But what do you really need to know when it comes to being tested on these skills?
Everything.
The reasoning through language arts subject of the GED, or RLA for short, is designed to assess reading for meaning, identifying and creating arguments, grammar, and language. It's all about comprehension, being persuasive, and paying attention to details. The entire test takes 150 minutes,
Okay, so that is 2 hours and a half.
but don't worry, there's a break in between sections.
Don't worry.
Question types include multiple choice, drop down, and a written essay. Okay, so now you know what to expect. You're probably wondering, how do I get ready for this? We get that you don't spend your day leafing through the dictionary, so we provide many more interesting options to prep for the topics that are on the test. First off, there are free study guides available in your student account at GED.com. A jump start at no cost is always nice.
Mm-hmm.
If you learn best in person, classes are offered at local adult ed centers.
You guys are doing that.
There, you'll have a teacher to guide you and fellow students to boost your motivation. The essay portion is 20% of the test score, so be sure to check out the extended response videos at GED.com to polish your writing skills and make sure you're fully prepared. For more information and resources, go to GED.com.
Yeah, so let's talk. I'm going to stop sharing right now. We're going to end it up a little bit. And I want to talk about, so reasoning through language arts, all the tests, the highest number you can get is a 200, okay? And they say 20% of it is going to be, 20% of it is going to be that essay, okay? So it does count for a lot, for a chunk. Can you pass the GED without the writing material or doing the essay? Can you?
No?
I don't think so.
Yes, you can.
Oh.
And I say that to you not so you, on the day of your test, don't write the essay. Always write the essay. It is only 20%, okay? But you want to get the best score that you can, so you might as well give it a shot. It's between 300 to like 500 words, 300 to 700 words. It's not that much. It's not that crazy, okay? So yes, you can pass it. Do we want you to skip it? No. Have I had students pass it and not take or not do the essay portion? Yeah, but that means you have to do so much better on the grammar and the reading and the reading comprehension that you have to like score outstanding on that. Okay, so what we have 8 minutes left. So what we'll do is close up. I'll stay on here if you have any questions. I know a couple of you emailed me or chatted with me directly and are asking for an email. That's totally fine. We'll make that happen soon. Other than that, if you have any questions, let me know and we'll answer those questions. If not, we will give you 8 minutes to prepare for math. Okay.
Hi, have a good one.
All right. You too. I will see you Thursday.
All righty, good night.
All righty.
I actually have 2 questions.
Okay, cool.
This is Marianne.
Right.
I sent you an email asking about having
the social studies pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right here. I'm going to, what I want to do is, I'm not going to scan all of them to you, but I'm going to scan different sections. But
okay.
That's my goal, is to get that tomorrow morning.
Okay. And then
my secretary is home with COVID.
Oh, no.
I have been doing 2 people's job.
That stinks.
So it's all good.
Then my second question is, I noticed when I did the practice tests for social studies, the last few questions, I found myself just picking an answer because I ran out of time.
Oh,
Is
okay.
that good or bad?
You found yourself, I missed what you said. You found yourself what?
I ran out of time, so the last 2 or 3 questions I had to just guess.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Or
yeah. If you have 30 seconds left or a minute left and you've got 5, you need to put B, 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 C, 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 A, 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 A.
Yeah.
You need to put something down. If you put nothing down, then you're not giving yourself a chance. So
okay.
that's a test taking strategy, a really good one. Now, obviously, if you can get through and you can, eliminate 1, then you have 1 out of 3. If you can eliminate 2, then you got a 50%. You got a coin flip of 50%. But yeah, if you're at the end of it, yeah, don't ever leave anything blank. This test is not one to leave things blank like some other tests. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
All righty, my friends.
All right,
5 minutes. 5 minutes till mathematics. See you guys.